feeling internally and I can't move something, one of my favorite things to do is to just go walk out in nature. Because there is always an answer waiting to be discovered within when you're still enough. And sometimes the wind, the sun, the earth, the plants, they'll whisper your answers to you. So, if you're feeling stuck, unsure, and you need to clear your mind, take a stroll in nature. Honestly, I should have been out here a long time ago, but it's been cold. And I hate the cold. I don't hate the cold. But I'm finding a new relationship with the cold. I'm appreciating the way that the cold hits my face, hits my body, hits my lungs, and wakes me up. I thought I wanted to cry. I was thinking about the concept of being different. And a lot of times, people tell me, I love how unique you are, how you just are yourself. But sometimes you don't see the fear of being myself. Oh, a woodpecker. Wanna check it out? Oh, can you see her? She's so beautiful. Thank you for visiting today. Okay. Bye. Cool. Yeah, but a lot of times people tell me, and I get a lot of compliments on just being authentically myself. And people are always like really impressed. This is not me tooting my own horn, but it's just like people are really like, wow, like I love how unapologetically yourself you are. But a lot of times people don't see the fear that I battle in being myself, right? The deeply repressed parts of getting in trouble for being yourself, right? And like when I say getting in trouble, I mean like physical harm, like that part, right, of being yourself, and how deeply that sticks with you. And the more I heal, the more I move, the more I find that it keeps coming up. So it's a wound that I've had to really go back in to move and address over and over again. But the concept of you being you is wrong. However that looks like, that's something that I really, really battle with and struggle with, especially doing the work that I do, because it's so unconventional. People don't really understand it sometimes. Unless you experience it, then you're like, whoa, this is cool. But until we get to that point, I'm always kind of wading through the fear of being perceived, the fear of being judged, and knowing that in the past it's meant, again, physical harm for me when somebody misunderstood me or perceived me in a way that wasn't authentic to who I am or what I'm trying to do. And I think this is a common thing that people who are neurodivergent, and I use that term not as a box to box me in, because it really only supports me in explaining my experience in this world. Being someone who maybe thinks differently, sees the world differently, acts differently, right? it supports me in being able to like explain to other people just a bit, a tiny bit, not even like the whole enchilada, but a tiny bit of how I navigate in this world. So yeah, I've been having to move and walk through that recently. The fear of being perceived. And reminding myself that it is safe. I got caught under the tree. Reminding myself that it is safe to be seen, even if people don't understand. That I am safe to be different. My mentor, she told me that once. She's a shaman, so she can see into your soul, boys. She could see into your soul, and she told me, she looked me in my eye and she said, it's okay to be different, you know that, right? And it's strange because even though I knew that, I didn't feel that in my soul and in my being, that it's okay to be different. And so I often tell people rejection is redirection, is God's protection. It brings you closer to where you need to be, and people who are in alignment with yourself. But I want to hold the fact that it's painful. It's painful to go through life being misunderstood. It's painful to be perceived in a way that is not, I guess, representative of who you are. And so I've always loved to watch people who are so unapologetically themselves, who really don't care, who are so weird and strange, because the level of confidence, the level of acceptance that you have to occupy in order to do that, it takes a lot of work to get there. It takes a lot of work to get there. And I am still doing that work to get there. So if anybody sees me being my weird, authentic self and is like, man, I wish I could do that too, you can. It's terrifying. It's scary. You have to face a lot of your stuff, but you can do that, and it is okay to be different. Because it'll bring you to the people, places, and spaces that you need to be at, where your light is needed. So embrace your difference, even when it's scary. And again, it's okay to be scared while you're doing it. It's okay to not be sure. It's okay to feel very uncomfortable while you're doing it. But if that is who you authentically are, it is more harmful to your soul to pretend to be somebody you're not. It is more harmful for your soul for you to have to try and cut parts and pieces of you to fit into a narrative that is not yours. And so it is brave work. Acknowledge that. We're gonna go back underneath. It is brave work. But coming into your authenticity requires that level of bravery. It requires you to be okay with being perceived in a way that you don't intend. And understanding that people's perceptions of you is only a reflection of them and what they are willing to see. So, I love y'all. Keep being weird. Keep being different. Let's make more space for each other. Let's make more space for each other, guys. And I hope that those little weird kids that are coming up that see us weird grown-ups feel seen, heard, loved, valued, respected, and worthy of being here. Because it does get better. And you might not always be legible to people. And you know what? I'm also tired of just trying to be legible to people. Forget it. I am a deep feeling human. And so my soul, there's parts of my soul I can't even begin to explain to people. There's things I experience I can't even begin to explain to people. You wouldn't even believe me. You wouldn't believe me unless you experienced it yourself. That is my connection with my spirit. That is my connection to all that is. And if I think about it, would I rather be quote unquote normal and fit in, or be able to have these deep, life-changing experiences of knowing and being? Would I trade that to fit in to society? The answer is always no. The answer is always no. So at the end of the day, I gotta be different. I gotta be myself. And if that's the case, if I gotta be myself, if I gotta be different, then I gotta learn to love and accept it. Woo! Okay. Let's do it. Let's just be unapologetically me. Alright. I love you guys. Take really good care of yourself. And bye. Ooh, my fingers are frozen. Honestly, nature has been calling me for a minute, but I've been avoiding her because she's been cold. Okay? And today, she said, "Nuh-uh, you're coming outside. You're coming outside because you know you need to be here." And she was not wrong. She was not wrong. I feel the most sane around trees. Like, literally, I feel the most seen and sane and grounded around trees. Because they don't judge. They literally just start, look at them. Just being. Look at that. Just being. Just being, just supporting, just loving. I don't know. I know why I avoided outside, but every time I come out here, I'm like, I need to stop avoiding the thing that brings me the most joy. The thing that brings me the most peace. Anyway, back to the concept of being different. You're different because there is something that only you can do. There's something that your perspective is needed for. Right? If we were all the same, there would be, what would be the point? How would we expand? How would we go? How would we grow? So you are different because this world needs you. Because this world needs you to be different. So embrace it as much as you can and have fun with it as much as you can. And shit, just know that most people are hiding their difference anyway. Most people are fighting really hard trying to fit in. And they also are different. Actually, yeah. Don't think I've come across someone who is quote unquote normal. Everybody is different. And the more I allow myself to be different, the more they allow themselves to be different. And the more I see, yo, all of us have just been faking the funk, huh? Y'all just been faking the funk. Huh? Okay. Trying to fit in. Oh, gosh. All these trees are dancing. Want to check it out? They're like, you got it now, Davin. It is okay to be different, queen. Yes. These trees are dancing. And sure, you could say it's the wind, but hey, wouldn't it be more fun to say the trees are dancing for you? That's how I live my life. Connected to nature always. Okay, that's all. That's all because my hands are cold. And I don't want to record anymore, but yeah, I literally came out here to cry about being different, and then the tree said, hell no, girl. Each one of us is unique. Each tree is different. Every single tree in this forest is different. And every single tree in this forest matters and supports each other. And below the surface, they're all connected. And they're swaying and they're singing. You hear them creaking and cracking in the wind. Each one of them have a unique song to sing and a unique joy to bring. And sometimes I forget that I'm just a little tree in a really, really big forest. But I am just as important as each one of them. Man, I love it here. Oh, I think somebody's screaming in the distance. But man, I love it here. I really do. Okay. Peace and love. Bye. Also say, because it caused me physical harm to be perceived as different, one of the things that I did growing up as a child was I was intentionally rebellious. In my head, I was like, yo, if y'all ain't gonna accept me, I'm gonna do whatever I want to do. I'm gonna be myself. But the only difference is I was seeking acceptance from my peers. So I just ended up being more like my friends, to be honest, because I was like, oh, okay, if I'm funny enough, these guys will accept me. If I help people enough, they'll accept me. So I just became a people pleaser in that way. But because I have such a long, and then whenever I would act in a way that was like, I don't know, counter to the group, obviously you would find that kids would reject you. And again, if my experience of being rejected came with like physical harm, then it would trigger that trauma response to start people pleasing, right? So maybe at home I was rebellious, but at school I was definitely whatever people needed me to be, right? Whatever meshed the best. And even then I don't know if I was super good at it, because people would still tell me I was always weird. So maybe it was just my internal perception of being good at it. But yeah, even now, when I do things that require me to be seen or perceived, or I fear rejection or judgment, sometimes I can be hyper independent because I'm scared of judgment. I'm like, I'll just do everything myself. But Spirit has really been asking me to collaborate and work with other people lately. So I'm really trying to step out of my comfort zone and work with others. And in doing that, I can feel it in my physical body. When I put myself out there, I can feel the fear. Like I can feel my nervous system getting dysregulated. So for me, now that I'm not masking and now that I'm more in my body, it feels super visceral. It feels super visceral, like, oh my gosh, if I don't perform in a certain way, if I don't present in a certain way, what will they think about me? And then I start to feel unsafe. And this is all subconscious. Like, I'm not even thinking these things. I'm just feeling it in my body, right? And so when I feel that in my body, for me lately, it's been important for me to recognize that this is part of me reprogramming my nervous system, right? This is part of me doing the work to take my power back, to recognize that, hey, somebody not liking me will not kill me. Okay? They will not beat me to death. Like, it won't kill me, it won't harm me. I will be okay. If someone doesn't agree with me, if someone doesn't like me, if somebody thinks I'm weird or wayward, whatever, I'll be okay. So, music is playing now, but I'll be okay. So, yeah, this is part of it. This is part of it. Go for a walk if you start to feel your nervous system acting up. Do things that ground you if you start to feel your nervous system acting up. And remind yourself that you are actually safe, that there is no threat. And don't shame yourself for feeling that way, for feeling scared, for feeling anxious, because it's probably coming from a deep-rooted space, right? And it's probably part of your childhood stuff that's coming up that needs to be addressed. So be kind to yourself. If those things come up for you when you start to feel in your nervous system, you start to feel scared, you start to feel like you want to cry, it is just your body telling you, man, there's still some stuff stored in there. There's still some fear stored in there. And you need to do the work of reprogramming and reframing for yourself and reminding yourself that it is safe to be seen, right? It is safe to be perceived. It's okay to not be liked. But it's a very young part of yourself that is being triggered and activated. So instead of beating yourself up for thinking, man, I should be over this, I shouldn't be feeling this type of way, or whatever, be kind to yourself, because it's a very young part of you. And if you could visualize that part of you that is feeling this trigger, that's holding that energetic signature of what has happened in the past when you were misunderstood and when you were misperceived, how would you talk to that part of you, right? Would you be like, man, just get over it? No, because their fear is super valid that those things did happen, right? It did cause them harm to be misperceived or misunderstood. So learning to hold that part of myself with gentle care and love. Yeah. So any other neurodivergent baddies who don't fit into the mold, want to do something weird, feel like you have to meet a standard, feeling pressure to meet a standard that you really don't care to meet anyway, but still having the physiological response in your body when you are actively standing out. I'm here with you. Go for a walk. Come for a walk with me. And maybe sit in the snow and talk to some trees and breathe some good air and love on yourself mostly, because I love you. Okay, now that's it. This is actually it. Bye, guys. Ooh. Oh Lord, that's no deep. And the thing won't pass. Oh my gosh, it's still recorded. So maybe y'all gonna come all the way to the car with me. Maybe Source doesn't want me to stop talking. Is there more? Is there more to be said? The fear of being perceived is not real, because all people are doing is perceiving themselves through you. That is all. They're only seeing themselves through you. You get me? Cool. I like that message. All right. Thank you. Man, this thing is not pausing. It is not pausing. And we are in the wilderness.